Hi guys, so we meet again for our next session on complex numbers. I hope you have understood the previous lecture on complex numbers because this lecture will be related to that lecture which we have discussed. So today we are going to start with representation of a complex number. We are going to discuss today the representation of a complex number. Just like we represent real numbers on real number system, in the same format we can represent a complex number on a different diagram. Now this diagram is basically a complex plane, or it can be also said as Argand diagram. It represents a XY system, like our coordinate system, in which my X is my real axis and Y is the imaginary axis. So the real part of the complex number will go on the real axis and the imaginary part of the complex number will go on the imaginary axis. I want to represent Z is equal to 3 plus 2i on this complex plane. In this I should know my 3 is the real number and 2i is the imaginary number, or 2 is the imaginary part. So my 3 should go on the x-axis and my 2 should go on the y-axis. That means I basically have to plot the point 3, 2. So 3, 2 will be somewhere over here. So this represents my z. So basically you're plotting the number on a Cartesian coordinate system. Since it is representing a complex number, it is called as a complex plane or an Argand diagram. In the same way, we have the second form, which is called as the polar form. This is my polar form representation of a complex number, wherein my z, that is a complex number, can be written as r cos theta plus I sin theta, where r is the value root of x square plus y square and theta has the value tan inverse of y by x. Now in this, basically my r is what we call as the amplitude or the modulus of the complex number. It is basically the distance of the complex number from the origin. And theta is the angle which the radius is making with the x-axis. So this represents my theta. If the theta value is between minus pi and pi, then it is called as a principal argument of a complex number. When we are converting my complex number in the Cartesian system to the polar form, we have to consider three cases. The first case is when we are considering a complex number which is purely real. That means my y is 0. In that case, if my x is going to be greater than 0, that is, it lies on the positive half of the x-axis, then in that case my theta will have the value 0. If x is having the negative values, that is negative half of the real axis, then in that case my theta will have the value pi. The second case, in this case we are considering my complex number is purely imaginary. That means my x is 0. If that occurs, then I have to see the sign of y. If my y is negative number, then the theta value will be minus pi by 2. And if my y is a positive number, then my theta value will be plus pi by 2. The third case is, apart from the first prior two cases, that is in which my complex number was lying either on the real axis or the imaginary axis. If my point is lying in the different quadrants, then in that case first step is I have to find value of alpha. Now alpha is given by tan inverse of y by x under modulus. So I am only going to take positive value of y by x. Even if any of them is negative, I will be taking only the positive value and finding tan inverse of that ratio. Once I have calculated what is alpha, then I am going to see in which quadrant the complex number lies. If it lies in the first quadrant, then simply my theta is the value alpha. Theta is the value alpha. If it lies in the second quadrant, my theta will have the value pi minus alpha. If it is in the third quadrant, then the value becomes minus of pi minus alpha. and the fourth quadrant it will be minus alpha. These values are for only principal arguments. Let me represent these two complex numbers into polar form. The first, as you can see, it's purely imaginary number, which is 2i. So in that case it is x equals 0 and my 2i will lie on the positive half of the y-axis. So you can see that the angle which it is making is pi by 2. So that is why for this representation my z1 can be written as, first of all I have to take magnitude of 2, that will give me 2. It will be cos pi by 2 plus I sine pi by 2. So this becomes my representation of the complex number in polar form. I am considering the second example, that is 1 plus I. Before going into that, you have to follow this particular step. First you have to find the modulus. The modulus of this is given by root 2. Second, you have to find theta. Theta, since this particular complex number is lying in the first quadrant, my theta will be equal to alpha, and alpha is given by tan inverse of magnitude of y by x. My y and x are 1, so that is tan inverse of 1. That gives me the value pi by 4. So my complex number is represented by, so these are the two examples for representation of complex numbers. For engineering students, there is a third form of representation of a complex number, which is called as a Euler's representation. So in that case my z is given by r e raised to I theta, where r and theta are the same things which we have seen in my polar representation. Next topic is finding cube root of unity. In that I am going to consider this particular equation. I have to find the values of z for cube root of unity. So for this case what I do is I cube on both sides. So I get z cube is equal to 1. That gives me z cube minus 1 equals 0. This is of the form a cube minus b cube. So this gives me z minus 1 into z square plus z plus 1 equals 0. So one of the roots I am getting it as z equals 1. The other root I will be getting from this particular equation using my formula for solving quadratic equation. The formula is given by z is equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This gives me minus plus minus I root 3 by 2, because you can see 1 minus 4 gives me root of minus 3, which is represented by I root 3. So we land up with 1 and these two roots for a cube root of unity. So my cube root of unity are, first one is 1. The other one I am representing by omega equals minus 1 plus root 3i by 2. And the second one is omega square is equal to minus 1 minus I root 3 by 2. So these are my basically the cube roots of unity. The reason why I have written this as omega square is because if I take any of the two complex roots as omega and I square it, I get the second complex root. So if you just check, if you just square this term, you will get this term. So that is why my cube root of unity are represented by 1 omega and omega square. There are certain properties for cube roots of unity. First property is that product of the roots is 1. That means my omega cube is having value 1. The second property is 1 plus omega square is 0. The other thing which you should remember is omega raised to 3k will have value 1. Omega raised to 3k plus 1 will have the value omega, and omega raised to 3k plus 2 will have the value omega square. So the question is, prove that 1 plus omega minus omega square the whole square. So the problem is, prove that 1 plus omega minus omega square the whole cube is equal to 1 minus omega plus omega square the whole cube equals minus 8. So I have to prove this. So first what I will take is LHS. LHS of 1 plus omega minus omega square the whole cube. Now I have seen one property, that is 1 plus omega square equals 0. So from this I will get that 1 plus omega is minus omega square. So that gives me minus 2 omega square the whole cube. So minus 2 cube is minus 8, and this is omega raised to 6. Now omega raised to 6 can be written as 3 into 2, which is omega of 3k, which we have already seen has the value 1. So that is why we have proved this as minus 8. Next we take the second LHS, that is 1 minus omega plus omega square the whole cube. Using the same relation, I can see that 1 plus omega square is going to be minus omega. So that leads us to minus omega the whole cube, which is minus 2 omega cube, which gives us minus 8 omega cube. My omega cube has the value 1, so that is why this will have the value minus 8. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any doubts, please do share in the comment section. For information, you can go and look it in the about page. It will also give you the schedule of the videos which will be coming up in the month. Do like and share and subscribe our channel. This will help make more videos like this on different topics. Do watch videos on other topics also. Thank you and keep learning.